MENA trade encounters various hurdles such as trade security issues, the imperative of economic diversification. Our panel delves into ramification of global trade dynamics, notably the rise of protectionism, and trade non-balance. Amidst this landscape, regional trade cooperation is crucial. Statistics reveal that intra-MENA trade reached $302 billion in 2023, showcasing the region's potential for economic integration. Additionally, fostering collaboration and integration within MENA is paramount, with initiatives like the Arab Free Trade Area aiming to boost intra-regional trade by 50% by 2030. Moreover, addressing trade barriers is essential, with non-tariff measures affecting 15% of MENA's trade. Sustainable trade practices emerge as key focus, with renewable energy trade in the region projected to reach $20 billion by 2025. This is said, I'd like to welcome our next panel, our moderator, Tanya Cole, Counselor for Commercial Affairs, Regional Senior Commercial Officer, Gulf, U.S. Embassy, UAE. Welcome. Come on stage. Mr. Muhammad Ali Dabba, Regional Director of Public Policy, MEPNG. Welcome, sir. Dr. Sharif Fahmy, CEO of Engage Group. Welcome. Last but not least, Aisha Salem Howey, IP Attaché, U.S. Patent Office, U.S. Embassy. She is trying to make it. She's another champion on the way to us. She may be joining us soon. So a big round of applause for our panelists. All the best. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Tanya Cole. Many of you I have met, and some of you I have not. So this is a great opportunity. I'm the Regional Senior Commercial Officer here in the Gulf region. I'm based here in the UAE. I'm based in Abu Dhabi. You probably know my colleagues. I like to say my colleagues and not necessarily people who work for me. I like to say they work with me. So we have Frank Joseph. And then we also have Bruce in the back, our attaché. So I just wanted to flag those people out. And so also my other colleague is on the road. It's our IP attaché. Many of you have met her as well. And I'm hoping that she will be able to arrive. But if not, we can always have Bruce fill in on some of the questions that may come to surface. So I'd like to thank the AmCham for this opportunity, the AmCham Abu Dhabi, and the AmCham Dubai, and also I'd like to also thank the AmChams across the region. I had the opportunity to meet some of the representatives here from AmCham Qatar, and I'm looking forward to that traveling there next week. So it was really a great opportunity to come to this. And it's a privilege to be on stage with our distinguished speakers right here, our panelists. We, unfortunately, we're going to have Kraft Heinz and P&G, but in fact, unfortunately, because of the weather, they were not able to arrive either in time or even to take their flight. So let's just talk a little bit about trade. Let's talk about trade. So the benefits of international trade. I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about the United States, because actually, you know, that's one of the countries that I'm representing. So the United States is the world's largest economy and the largest exporter and importer of goods and services. And trade is critical to the American prosperity, fueling economic growth, supporting good jobs at home and abroad, raising the standard of living, and helping Americans provide for their families with affordable goods and services. Let's swing over to the data. In 2023, the U.S. exported $3 trillion worth of products. And I was really impressed with this. 3 trillion worth of products, including 2 trillion worth of goods and 1 trillion worth of services. This also includes 105 billion in exports to the Middle East. This is really, folks, an all-time high, including 71 billion in goods and 34 billion in services. And I recently just heard, in terms of projection, the MENA region alone is projected to have 8% growth. So I like to say it's happening. I'm from Los Angeles, and we like to say it's happening here. And that's why all of you are here. So before I get started, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the U.S. Commercial Service and what we do. Many of you have used our services. I'm here not only representing the UAE, the MENA, also the GCC region, as I have responsibility for Qatar, Kuwait, and Oman. But I'm also here representing our colleagues across the region. And if you haven't used the U.S. Commercial Service, you're really missing out, because it's one of the best opportunities for you in terms of what we provide. We have a robust network across the region. And most of our U.S. Commercial Service officers are based in the U.S. Embassy. And what we like to do is help you sell your goods and services. When you're successful, we are successful. So your success is our success. And some of the things that we do, we're represented in 70 countries across the world and 105 cities in the United States. So it's not only internationally, but we connect you to many of our U.S. export service centers in the U.S. And then we also have a very robust FDI program, and that's foreign investment into the U.S. And some of you have heard of our Select USA program. And in fact, we have a Select USA Summit, which will be taking place at the end of June. Here in the UAE alone, we have about 34 companies that will be going to the Select USA Summit. And then also in other regions across the GCC and the MENA region, we have a robust summit robust delegation that will be attending the summit. So these are some of the things that we do. We connect you to trade opportunities. We connect you to trade shows that are happening in the region, either internationally here or also in the US. The other thing that we do is we promote intellectual property protection of trademarks and patents. And we're all about innovation, because innovation is important to stay competitive. And while you're innovating, it's important that you protect your IPR. And that's one of the things that my colleague was going to talk about. But don't worry if she's not able to navigate the waters and get here. We'll make sure that you have her contact information so that you can connect with her. The other thing we like to do is support the ability to move data across national borders. And that's something that Bruce, our digital attaché, can help you with that. You've heard the phrase level playing fields. And we don't necessarily say, oh, you should stay out of certain markets. What we want to do is level the playing fields to make sure the markets are fair. American companies want to compete, but they want to compete in a fair environment, and they want to compete on the basis of having those level playing fields in terms of going into new markets. So the other thing that we do is we ensure that U.S. companies are 100% are able to move their subsidiaries in countries around the world in terms of their goods and services. I want to talk about a program that we have in the MENA region also that has been very effective, as well as in the GCC region, and that's our advocacy program. I think Ambassador Strong, she talked a little bit about that. We have a program here in place where U.S. companies are competing on public tenders, and we put together a program that is based in the Department of Commerce in the U.S. And what we do is we use the resources of the U.S. Embassy all the way up to an ambassador level to support you on those tenders. And again, I will circle back. It's about competing fairly. Many of the companies that you come up against, they have their governments 100% who are supporting them. And we want to make sure that U.S. companies as well are able to compete on a fair, on a level playing field. And that's something where the ambassador can support in terms of going in and talking to some of the key decision makers. It might be in the form of a supporting letter. It might be even in the form of having those really important talking points to just get you over the finish line. An example of that is, as many of you know, our Secretary of Commerce has already been here in the region twice and worked with some of the key companies that are here in the room. And when she comes to the region, one of the things that we want to do is get those key talking points in her briefing documents, so that when she's in front of these key decision makers, she's able to advocate for you. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, I spoke about Select USA. It's a robust program that's to help for people who are interested in investing in the U.S. As you know, we try to create a very positive investment climate. You've heard a lot of things about the IRA program. You've heard some things about the CHIP Acts. And many companies in the energy, digital, consumer goods, consumer products, manufacturing sectors are taking advantage of those resources. So with that, I want to turn back to a very key question. And this is something that I will put before our panelists. The question I'd like to ask is, what would it take to double not only your company's exports, U.S. exports, but also trade in general in the Middle East and Africa in the next 5 years? And as I spoke to many of the panelists yesterday, a lot of things came up: supply chain, logistics, international trade agreements, harmonizations in terms of custom practices. So why don't we do that before we get started? I'd like to have each of our panelists, and so as our panelists have been introduced, I will go to you, Mohammed Eldaba, Regional Director, Public Policy and Relations of Middle East, Procter & Gamble. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what you do, your role in the company, and then we'll double down to the questions. Mohammed, over to you.
Thank you, Tanya. Good morning, still, everyone. I just want to make sure that you're still good morning. So doubling that export for any company, I would say, specifically in our case, is depending on, I would say, 3 main factors. First one, the product itself and how innovative your product is, how to make sure that your product is relevant for everyone across the region that you're serving or across the globe. P&G, and I hope that you used our product this morning before you come to this conference. We do have a wide range of products that everyone knows. And in this region, we do manufacture our products in Morocco, in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia. However, we supply our products from these plants and from beyond, so from the US or from Europe or even from Asia side to all of the MENA markets. So we are proudly serving all of the MENA markets. So first of all, the product relevant to the consumer. So our consumer is the main centric point, the heart of everything that we do. And hence, as long as you'll be more relevant to them, you will have more trust, and then you'll have more volume to sell. The second one is innovation. We are living in a very dynamic world. Lots of inflation are happening around. Purchase power is moving down across all of the markets, across all the globe. And we are not, and there's lots of competition, and the rise of local small companies competition is massive in these timings. Plus, unfortunately, with all of these dynamics, and I hope that Aisha will be able to join us, the IP attaché, the rise of counterfeiting and intellectual property violations is also increasing across the regions. And then specifically, I would say MENA region is one of the top markets for these type of products. So how innovative you can go to make sure that your products is unique, as well as making sure that your products save their intellectual property rights. Third and last point, I would say, and one of the most important points, is the government partnerships. So the public-private partnerships that can drive trade facilitation. This includes the bigger umbrella of, and I believe Dr. Sharif will be better than me to talk about this, bigger umbrella of trade agreements. We have in this region the GAFTA, the Greater Arab Free Trade Agreement. We have in this small region the GCC Customs Union. But also from this bigger, I would say, umbrellas, the individual programs that are happening in the markets. We can see in Egypt, as an example, the export incentive model, where you are being incentivized by financially to increase your exports. How to make sure that this program, and I believe this is one of the most successful programs across MENA region, how to reapply this across. How to make sure that if there is a specific trade agreement that is not really in place currently, fully implemented, how to make sure that we are getting the best out of it. And the African Continental Trade Agreement is one of the most important examples for the North Africa part. So to summarize what I said, it's the product relevant to the consumer, it's the innovation, and the government-private-public partnership.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Now I'd like to move over to Dr. Sharif Fahmy, who will be representing Engage Consulting. Dr. Fahmy, can you tell us a little bit about what you do in your organization? And then also, what are you thinking about needs to happen to double international trade in the region within the next 5 years?
Thank you very much, Tania. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. Actually, I'm here representing Engage Consulting, which is a public policy and government affairs consultants. We are present in the MENA region. Actually, we have our headquarters in Cairo, but we do operate in the region in North Africa and Morocco, covering the North Africa region. We do have two offices in the GCC, one in UAE and one in Saudi. Our key role is to support our partners, and I'm saying partners, not clients, because usually it's a journey. PNG definitely is one of our partners. We are very, very proud of this partnership. We support our partners in the engagement with the governments across the region in order to improve the business environment. So we help our partners to better understand the regulations, the policies, the international trade agreements, how to leverage such agreements. We raise the awareness of the policies and the regulations in the region. And also we support on the ground in solving their problems whenever it comes to the executions. We are very deep and very detailed when it comes to the execution of the policies. So, and I'm very proud of my previous background. I used to serve in the Egyptian Ministry of Trade and Industry for 12 years. I was in charge of the trade agreement file with a focus on Africa, but also I had the exposure of the other free trade agreements while managing the technical office of the Minister of Trade and Industry. So coming to the question, while it's I see it very, very top line question, but it's very difficult question. I would like to echo what Mohammed said about innovation. This is very important because I believe we have to start with the production efficiency and the production capacity. We have to improve the production efficiency and capacities of the companies across the region. We should also, taking into consideration what's happening now of the business challenges and the disruption because of the geopolitical situation, the war in Gaza, and also the Red Sea disruption. So access to the regional supply chain, we have to start with the regional supply chain and then move to the global supply chain. So leveraging what we call the accumulation of origin between the member states of the different free trade agreements, I believe this is very important because it allows the accumulation and the integration between the different companies in sourcing the raw materials and the production materials, which make our life easier and maybe add to the improve the efficiency of the production and the cost of production across the region. So coming to the doubling of the exports across the region, I'll give an example of Egypt. Egypt has a very promising vision of not only doubling the export, but maybe tripling the exports within the coming 5 years. And the key focus when we advised the government of Egypt on how to achieve this, so the key focus definitely was on the innovation and the production efficiency. And the second thing was the access to the global supply chain. The third thing was the leveraging of the different networking of the free trade agreements. So within this region, most of the member states, they are already members of free trade agreements within the region, like the GAFTA, the Agadir agreement, the GCC arrangement, the COMESA agreement, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, and the most recent one, which is most recent and actually most important one, which is the African Continental FTA, because it includes 54 member states of the 55 African member states. They just activated the agreement retroactively, offering a lot of benefits, tariff reduction, preferential treatment across all the sectors. So leveraging such agreement is very important. And I believe that maybe the lack of awareness of the benefits of the different trade agreements across the region, and also the lack of ability to meet the requirements, let's say the standards, the rules of origin, the requirements of the agreement, maybe the region need to be more aware about such benefits and how to leverage these benefits. That's why we as Engage, we believe this is very important. That's why recently we signed an agreement, an MOU with the Secretariat of the African Continental FTA in order to support the companies in the region on how to leverage the benefits of such agreement.
Wow, it's interesting because I just wanted to do a little bit more deep dive on trade agreements. And Mohammed, I know that was something that you had brought up in our conversations as well. So you mentioned that it's really important that people are aware about these agreements. So segmenting into that, Mohammed, what other things need to be done in terms of trade agreements that you really feel is feasible? I mean, I know the U.S. has a few trade agreements with countries in the Middle East and the Africa region, but let's take it a little bit further. I know there's awareness, but what do you feel might be the next step to actually increase double international trade within the next 5 years?
If you're focusing on the trade agreements, we can link this to a phrase of market access, right? Mm-hmm. For me, as Chief was just mentioning, having a trade agreement between market X and market Y will decrease the overall cost of doing business there. The UAE as well have a very strong model of eliminating all the duties for all of the imports, as long as your imports are used into feedstocks of your manufacturing processes in the UAE. So such models of free trade agreements or governmental programs is enabling and will enable as we go, as we create more programs with the governments, better trade terms for all the companies to be able to export more. The issue is that lots of these special programs, and even as Dr. Sharif was just mentioning, the rules of origin of some of these trade agreements are not clear, and sometimes they are kept for the interpretation of the custom officers on the customs borders. So sometimes the companies doesn't know how to apply GAFTA or how to apply the GCC Customs Union when it comes to the duties preferential treatment between country X and country Y. Sometimes the customs officer themselves do have a specific textbook and they don't know how to navigate through around this. So the one thing that we can also double down when it comes to efficiently implementing the customs programs and trade agreements is educating companies, raising the awareness when it comes to supply chain people as well as customs officer of how to apply the textbook and what are the what-if models that could be faced during the export processes. So another element, I would say, one more element, just thought about it now, is sometimes we saw, and we experienced across, I believe, the room, some different interpretation by states for specific trade agreements. And here comes the usage and the utilization of the commercial services of the US government, sometimes in countries like Iraq. Mm-hmm. So in Iraq, the regulatory landscape is very different. And mm-hmm. I'm not sure if anyone here from Iraq, but the regulatory landscape is very different. And the market access is very difficult. And you could see like last 6 months, I believe, there were 2 or 3 decrees out of the cabinet and the prime minister's office, issuing a 60%, up to 60% extra duties on specific products. Majority of them are imported into the Iraqi market. No matter where they are coming from, no matter if there is a trade agreement or not, if there is a program or not, we will not care. Except if they are from Jordan, to be quite honest. So they accepted, they took Jordan out of the list, and everything everywhere from everywhere will be applying 30 to 60% ingredient duties. And these types of activities, which you sleep, you wake up in the next day, 60% of your products coming into the market, are very, very disruptive, right? And that's the example where we utilize our advocacy plans, we utilize our US partners as well to make sure that we are raising our voice and we are sharing our ideas. I would like to thank the US Commercial Service on this, because we work with them a lot on this one, as well as the US Chamber, plus for sure AmShams, but we don't have AmSham in Iraq, I know. But anyways, so these are the key elements, how to make sure that our people and the governments are well trained on what they agreed, as well as to navigate through these complex regulatory setups in some of the markets.
So I'm going to take a pause right there, and I'm going to go to the audience. And I'd like to ask the audience if there are any questions in the audience. So we have a question right here. If you can say your name and where you're from, and then ask your question. Thank you.
Since you said that your headquarters is in Cairo, our headquarters is in Ohio, Cincinnati, just to make sure that I am linking the PNG thing.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question is specifically for Expansion Capital to be able to come into the MENA region from a U.S. company. My name is Demetrios Melikos with U.S. Heritage Power Sports, based in New Orleans, Louisiana. We have excellent support in Louisiana for trade and also for tax incentives, including tax credits. We do have an innovative product, Mr. Mohammed. We do solve a problem that exists today, right now, environmentally in the UAE and the region, pertaining to EV vehicles for last mile delivery service. The difficulty that we have is finding capital to expand into the region. The support we're getting from the government, the accelerators here are excellent. We do have access to the government and to the programs. What we're having difficulty with is being able to get our product here because of funding not being available easily from the US to the UAE. And from the UAE, what is available to us here is coming at unacceptable terms financially. So again, my question is, what is available, or where should I be looking for local funding for our commercial product, B2B specific, in the EV sector?
Dr. Fahmy, would you like to take that question? Because being a consulting firm, you may have some insight on that, and then I can add something in for the commercial service.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll share with you the experience that we had in the region in having some programs or projects supporting the entrepreneurs or maybe the SME in the region in order to improve the production capacity and improve the trade facilitation across not only the region but also to allow them to export more. So I believe USAID project across the region, they usually support the companies in how to actually get the access to the fund, the access to the innovation, and also they raise the awareness about the different export opportunities in the market. So what I understand that you see the opportunity, but you miss the access to the finance. So I do believe that such programs, they support from the technical level, and also they support from the access to finance across the region through the donors agency and also the supporting mechanism across the region. So there is like special funds for the SMEs and for the entrepreneurs, for specific projects, for specific sectors. So we would be more than happy maybe to search that for you and share it with you, definitely.
So I wanted to just add one other thing. You have something that I mentioned in my opening statement is we have the U.S. Export Assistance Center, and I don't know if you're working with the local U.S. Export Assistance Center. You can reach out to Bruce, and he can give you the contact for that. What we do is we help companies like yours attend come on trade missions, and also to attend trade shows. And I can just give you an example. A lot of times our trade shows are coupled with major events. We just finished COP28 here, and it was focused on sustainable energy, renewable energy. And we had many companies across the U.S. who were at this particular event. And we were they had the blue zone and the green zone. And basically in the green zone, we were able to connect these companies with potential investors who could come and actually see their technology and provide, amplify an opportunity for them to connect with these people on site. So we don't have a lot of time to go and deep dive into this, but it's another best kept secret. And so I would encourage you to reach out to Bruce, and we can get your contact information, and we will be able to follow up on that. I have a timekeeper, and they were giving me the 5 minutes, but I have to say that I think my colleague just arrived. Was that Bruce? Is she here?
She's outside. Allow me to comment on this until Aisha comes.
Okay, unfortunately, she's not here. Okay, so I want to make a plug for that as well. If you're interested in intellectual property, patents, trade, training sessions that are up and coming in this region, there's a huge training session that's going to be done that's going to inviting the MENA region and the GCC region. Reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we can connect you with my colleague.
Tanya, sorry, allow me to also very quickly,
Yes.
1 minute, comment on this one. Your financials should work. So your financials, EV and last mile delivery, logistics-wise, I saw this program several times, to be quite honest. The main issue is the financials of the programs, usually. It's more expensive than the traditional way. However, if you can prove that your financials could work on a longer term, Ministry of Industry, I'm talking about your UAE specifically, Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change will be more than happy to understand from you part of Operation 300 billion program in MUIAT, Ministry of Industry and Advanced Technology, or part of MOKE plans to electrify the fleets. This will be great. And since I'm on the board of AmSham Dubai, please join us in AmSham Dubai. We'll be more than happy to facilitate these connections for you as well in the UAE.
So in closing, I want to provide some closing remarks, but I'm going to ask you why I'm wrapping this up. I'd like you to come up with 3 words that represent fostering international trade, doubling down. And I'll ask each of you to come up with those 3 words. But in closing, I've heard a lot about how important the supply chain is in this whole process, having a predictable supply chain, and also having harmonization across the customs process. Innovation. We all talked about innovation. Innovation is important, staying ahead, being competitive, and it's also important in terms of our clients and customers and keeping them on board. And then the other thing that I heard about trade agreements, although trade agreements are there, if we don't know about them, if we're not aware of them, then what use are they for us? And so it's really important not only to be aware of the trade agreements, but also have market access. So with that, I'm going to circle back to you. Mohammed, give me your 3 words.
Okay, innovation for sure. Innovation includes as well the diversification of your supply chains. Since we have the Red Sea issue and you need to have more diverse supply chain routes. So 1 is innovation. 2 is the regulatory landscape, including the trade agreements. So innovation, regulatory landscape, and the last word will be consumer at the center of everything that you do.
And over to you, Dr. Fahmy.
Okay. The first message is to the private sector. Let's leverage the benefits of the different free trade agreements, be it within the region or the other free trade agreements with the third party, because I do believe that within the region, we have huge market access to the other partners all over the world, like the United States, the EU, and some other countries in Asia, the EFTA, Turkey, Euro-Mediterranean. So let's leverage these benefits of the free trade agreements. Another message to the government, let's eliminate the non-tariff barriers, because it can hinder all the benefits of the
And your third one
please.
is?
Sorry?
That's two, so your third one.
Okay, the third one is increase the competitiveness through access to the regional supply chain, and again, leveraging the principle of the cumulation of origin.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank our guests. I want to thank our colleagues, clients, and customers. And I really want to thank our partners, and that's AmCham here in Dubai and AmChams across the MENA region. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks to you. Thank you so much. A big round of applause for our international trade advocates. Thank you.